very good morning to you there. This is Idea TV newspaper review, where we try to make sense of all the big paper review, where we try to make sense of all the big stories in the front pages of the nation's newspaper. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and of course I'm not alone today. I'm with someone that's going to analyze, dissect, and make sense of these stories. Umar, good morning.
Good morning, Cynthia.
Good to have you here. I mean, this is the first time we are doing this, but I believe you are here to, make it make sense to the people out there. So this morning we have a whole lot of stories here, and the first paper we're going to be starting with is the nation's newspaper, where we have one of the biggest story here is transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. And then we have on page 3 here, census Tinubu. And then we have on page 3 here, census chairman bid. PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. PDP, we've been hearing a lot about PDP, but we are going to go into that later. And then EFCC here on page 3, EFCC backs student loan, consumer credit with 100 billion naira. And then moving to page 4 and page 5, Ayeda Tiwa in Akungba, Akoko after truck crash kills 8. First Lady inaugurates digital learning centers in 10 states. These are stories we like to see, stories that talks about innovation. And then Anambra 2025, voter apathy, a threat to founding fathers' legacies. I'll end extortion of traders, transporters, Mogalu promises. Police threaten to prosecute politicians who cover number plates. We can see this story on page 41 of the Nation newspaper. And then moving down, Amopitan Anambra poll will demonstrate INEC's high standards. We have here transparency, integrity, credibility, a hallmark of credible elections, were on the agenda at yesterday's inauguration of Professor Josa Amopitan as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. And President Bola Tinubu says here that he has administered the oath, and when Amopitan highlighted the expectations which Amopitan himself emphasized when he resumed the INEC quarters. We're going to be talking about that. Moving on, we see that Kanu sacks 5 sons. Others, IPOB leader insists on a self-representation. Here, we've been seeing a lot about Kanu's court appearances, and we'll be talking about that later. And then UK court dismisses P&ID's case on cost. And then moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper. The bigger story here is Boko Haram attacks communities in Borno and Yobe. We killed over 50, injured 70 terrorists, military said. And then we see that Tinubu swears in Amopitan, charges him on credible polls. And then NUC, the Nigerian University Commission, approves 13 new courses for universities. And then after bandits attacks, Castina communities struggle to rebuild. All these we can find on the Daily Trust newspaper. And then moving downwards, we see fire raises over 500 stores in Kano market. Down again, we see Kano sacks legal team. Again, opens self-defense. Nigeria borrowing pace can undermine fiscal stability, says the Lagos. Okay, moving on to the Guardian newspaper, we see the biggest story here is that Tinubu demands credible elections as Amopita. I think this is taking all over, all newspapers. And then the defections, Makinde, APC, Senator decry lack of political ideology in Nigeria. I think all the news here is moving towards the 2027 upcoming election, and we can't wait for that day. MTN Nigeria here to stay, CEO reiterates at bilateral roundtable. And again, Tinubu appeals for understanding over economic challenges. Remove 4% for B-levy, consumers bear burden, manufacturers tell federal government. Moving upward a little, we see that from promise to paralysis inside Akwa Ibom's lost industrial decades. And then Kanu Sachs legal team opts to represent self in court. I wonder how he's going to do that, but then he's a man of his words. And I mean, he's a one-man army. And then challenges, moving upward, we see that challenging elections in courts makes mockery of Nigeria. NAS laments. And 22,050 displaced children back to school in the Northwest states, says SCI. And then EFCC, we recovered 566 billion, that's $411 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years. And then to the Punch newspaper, still Amopitan and Tinubu. Tinubu, that's the big story here. Tinubu to Amopitan, make 2027 polls transparent, violence free. I guess that's what we are all seeking for. And then wealth, moving upward a little, we see in page, you can find that in page 24 and 25. Wealth means nothing without a good name, Kensington Adebotu. And then moving to page 7, medical tourism spending falls 52% under Tinubu. This is a report from the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria. And moving to page 3, you can find this in page 3, 2027. Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. And then moving downwards a little, the federal government's nationwide crackdown on oil and gold smugglers. You can find this on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Assailant shoots shawarma vendor in Lagos. Pages 4 and 5 is where you can find that story. And then Anambra. Okay, we have here the Anambra poll. INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. So it's all about the upcoming elections. I mean, this is what is taking all the front pages of all the nation's newspapers. And I will still have you on Daily Sun that Tinubu gives INEC chairman marching orders on Anambra Guba election. I will deliver free, fair, transparent polls, vows Amopitan as he assumes office. And then moving upwards a little, we see that NAS moves to repeal Electoral Act. As Senate, House of Reps joint committees meet, the National Assembly has commenced moves to repeal the 2022 Electoral Act, explaining that the decision was prompted by public outcry for amendment of several sections of the law. Moving downward a little, we see that why Africa's development is stunted, Wike says, and it calls for homegrown investments to drive development. I mean, that's what we all seek for and look forward to. You can find that on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And foreign inflows surged 231% to 1.3 trillion naira amid renewed investor confidence. You can find that on page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Reps move to strip president of powers to sack EFCC chairman. We receive 566 billion naira for $411 million, 1,502 property in 2 years, Commission's boss says. You can find that on page 5 and, of course, on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu now. Police arrest Sowore at IPOB leaders trial. Claim he lured protesters into restricted area in contravention of court order. Moving on, we move to the Daily Independent newspaper. We still see here the biggest story here, taking the whole of the front page is Tinubu to Amapitan, Anambra Guba election, your litmus test. Asks him to protect integrity of elections, electoral process. New INEC chairman resumes duty, says appointment is divine. Vows integrity of country's electoral process not negotiable. I can't wait for Omar to talk about this. Let's see what you think about it. Nnamdi Kanu defends self in court, sacks legal representatives. I wonder why, but he says he wants to represent himself in court. I guess he knows how to represent himself better lines up Wike, Danjuma, Uzodima, others as witnesses. You can find that on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And then moving downward, MTN, Airtel, others move to bring $30 smartphones to African consumers. Then that's on page 6 of the Independent, Daily Independent newspaper. On page 7, reps propose rent increase must not exceed 20% of existing rent. I mean, this is not new to most Nigerians because the housing deficit has been surging for a while now. And then moving to page 6, Anyawu's claim of forgery baseless, misleading. PDP bots. And then NEC OK's Tinubu plan to rejig security agencies' training institutions, raises committee to oversee overhaul of training facilities as governors to impact lives at grassroots level. So it's about security here. Infrastructure has seen the National Economic Council, there's the NEC, endorsing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's proposal to overhaul and revamp many of the training. And then on I think downwards we see ritual killings, human trafficking on the rise, Lagos governor and others says. You can find that on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And moving upward a little, Okowa still under corruption probe despite joining APC, says EFCC. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has said the investigation into alleged corruption cases of the former governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okosa, still remains active. And then moving to the left or to my right-hand side, court orders INEC to prosecute minister over alleged forgery of poll results. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And that's it. Let's go back to the biggest story in all of these newspapers, Omo. What do you have to say about transparency, credibility, integrity that should define this election that Tinubu is posing or putting to Mopitan?
Well, Nigerians have been yearning for accountability, transparency as far as the electoral process is concerned. But let's look at it this way. Let's start with the definition of INEC. What is INEC? Independent National Electoral Commission. The word independent should be underlined. So in a sane environment, the INEC chairman, from my own perspective though, should not be appointed by a political party, should not be appointed by a politician. Because if I pick you to be an INEC, the umpire of an electoral process, and I am at the helms of affair, and I am proposing to run again, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So let's look at what is happening in Cameroon right now. Even with the agitation, the apathy of the Cameroonians, Paul Biya is still there. He was declared winner overnight, even with all the tabulations and calculations that Cameroonians came out to stand and calculate. So, from my own perspective, I feel the INEC chairman should be independently chosen. Who should choose the INEC chairman? It should be a two-way scenario. One, we have registered list of political parties. Why not say, okay, let's enact a law, let's bring up a bill, let's sign it into law that executive members of each political parties should hold a convention and appoint or, propose an ideal candidate to be an INEC chairman. Because this is someone who will be interfacing with them. He should not be appointed by the president. So once this person scales through this hurdle of the executive council of the political parties, I think in Nigeria we have either 31 or thereabout. So once these people, if it's like an election that will hold, this should happen. In another case, why not say, okay, CSOs should also be part of this?
But CSOs are saying that this is a chance to like reset what has been about what we have long known about you know, the INEC, the electoral processes, and you know, that I feel like this is a chance for them. And Amopitan has an experience in government. He has an experience. He's an experienced scholar.
I'll still come back to Amopitan. Now, on the other hand, I won't doubt if I won't fault it if the CSOs say this, because some of these CSOs have also joined partisan politics. You get me? Now let's go back to the analogy, the chronology of Amopitan. This was the same person who defended the current sitting president in court. He was a lead counsel to President Tinubu and APC against Peter Obi and also against Atiku Abubakar. So tell me how there will be a transparent election. So, for me, well, the president will not come out to say, Amopitan, APC must win. We saw the typical thing that happens in the Senate during his screening when our beloved Senate president asked him, were you not the person that represented Peter Obi? As if he did not know. So that was a reverse psychology he played. And Nigerians, we all know this. Will Akpabio tell me that he did not know that Amopitan was representing them in court, was a lead counsel? So it was a reverse psychology. So President Tinubu will not say, Amopitan, don't do my bidding. Do my bidding. But underground, Nigeria will always be Nigeria. But we hope that maybe I'm not this person that will always say God touches his heart, always pray for Nigeria. No, Nigeria does not need prayers. Nigeria needs fixing. Prayers don't fix corruption. That's it.
Okay, so the Lagos APC reacted angrily to this because, I mean, they say it's coming at a time when it shouldn't come. I mean, it's almost close, but then at the end of the day, I mean, the appointment is said to be based on merit. I know a lot of critics have been raising their eyebrows. I mean, with especially what you're saying, they say the whole lot of things. But do you hope? Do you think? Is there any hope somewhere? Do you think that, you know, his this assignment may bring some little hope? I mean, we are in the renewed hope agenda. That's all.
I'm sorry to say this. I'm a Nigerian. I'm non-partisan. But the truth is, even if the Labour Party were to be at the helms of affairs in this country and appoint an INEC chairman, we might not really see transparency. Like I said, he who pays the piper detects the tune. So, is this coming too late? I was never expecting anything less. Now look at the timing. See, President Tinubu is a strategist. He's a very good strategist. He's a master strategist, and I respect him for that. Okay. Now look at the timing. We are just ending 2025. When is the next elections? 2027. When is campaign starting? 2026. So can you see it? Now, there's been accusations that President Tinubu is appointing key positions to people from the either Southwest or Yoruba nation. Don't forget, you have Yorubas in Kogi. Yes. Amopitan is Kogi. Yes. You have Yorubas in Kwara. So, this is a strategic appointment at a strategic time. Now think of it. Why was the former INEC chairman not allowed to see off 2027 elections? The reason was his tenure elapsed. Abi? Why is the current IGP, the current Inspector General of Police, still an Inspector General of Police? Even when he should retire. So
are you saying they are prioritizing, I mean, this regime is prioritizing tribalism over, you know, competence?
Well, I'll not say that. I'll not say that. For me, I believe if a Yoruba man if you can do the job, irrespective of where you come from. But this is politics and this is Nigeria. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so seeing another big story here in almost all there. You know, you heard when I was reading most of it, and Kano sacks 5 senior advocate of Nigeria. Others, I mean, the IPOB leader insists on self-representation. The detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, yesterday dismissed his entire legal team. He opted to conduct his terrorism trial personally before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Kanu, who announced the decision during yesterday's proceedings, told Justice James Omotosho that he had taken back his case from his lawyers and was prepared to represent himself. The lead defense counsel, Chief Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria, informed the court that the team's presence was purely out of respect for the court. He announced that the senior lawyers, including Dr. Onyechi Epeazu, senior advocate of Nigerian, Joseph Akubo, senior advocate of Nigerian, Paul Erokoro, senior advocate of Nigeria, and Emeka Itiaba, also a senior advocate of Nigeria, had withdrawn from the case. Agabi explained the defendant has taken this case back from us and we respect the decision. Justice Omotosho turned to the defendant for confirmation. Kanu affirmed the sack of his lawyer, saying he would now handle his defense personally. The judge that ordered all remaining members of the defense team accept contract between P and ID and the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the construction of okay, let's just end it there. What do you have to, I guess I was moving to, what do you have to say about this?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, let me call it
with respect.
Yes, with respect. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's a lawyer. And I don't know if there's a clause in the Judicial Council that that you can, I think you can self-defend yourself.
Okay.
And so far, Nnamdi Kanu feels that his lawyers are not putting up to it. In one of the court proceedings the other time, we even saw how he was challenging one of his lawyers, and I think he was challenging Mike, senior advocate of Nigeria, and was even analyzing things to Mike. So I think Nnamdi Kanu, he knows how to cut his onions well. He was trained in Nigeria, he was trained in the UK, and this sacking of his 5 sons, will it deter the Nigerian government from holding what they have against him? It's up to the court to decide. But for me, self-determination, self-actualization, IPOB got it all wrong. They got it all wrong. Why am I saying this? You cannot destroy your region and feel that, people have confidence in you. Let's take a leap. Let's take a look at what happened to the Yoruba Nation agitator.
Okay.
All what he was fighting was the encroachment of Fulani people. He felt, Fulani headsmen are coming to take over our land. Let's do that. Okay, if the Nigerian government cannot defend us, we'll defend ourselves and break away as a region.
Is this to say that, won't this move kind of influence public trust on Nigerians and legal, body?
Well, the public trust on Nigerian legal body has actually died down because you see things happen, and an influential you have an issue or against an influential person, and he'll take it and he'll tell you, if you're not okay with it, take it to court. So even in the court, it is the highest bidder. But back to Nnamdi Kanu, sacking 5 of his defense counsel to have a self-representation. Let's see how that plays out. Okay,
we know that he's a lawyer. I'm giving that, but don't you think is this like a strategy for him to kind of create his own narrative for himself, and I mean, because this is Nnamdi Kanu now versus the Nigerian government. This is what it seems like, allegedly versus the Nigerian government. So does it mean like that he's trying to push his own narrative to make people believe that what he's saying, maybe his legal team, his ex-legal team, if I can put it that way, are not doing what they need to do? So is this a way to do you think it's a way to push his own narrative?
Nnamdi Kanu is also a strategist. I'll say that. He feels that his ex-legal team were not actually up to the game. And he might also have his concerns, probably, because don't forget, this guy is in detention.
Yes.
He does not know who his ex-legal teams are interacting with in the outside world. And probably, as a lawyer, he knows most of these rules. He knows the standing order. He knows the constitution. He knows his defense lines. But probably, maybe over the course of representation, his legal teams were not actually towing this path. And he feels that, okay, let me do it my way. Probably my way might expedite my release. And if you also want to look at it from another angle, I feel Nnamdi Kanu is also doing this to curry global attention on himself.
I was going there.
Yes.
I was going there because I mean, he's outside. You just mentioned that. I mean, from your own assumption, he's inside there and he's not interfacing with the public. But more like, is it a way to build public trust, or does he now believe in the public more than his lawyers, his team? Because the way it is going now, I mean, you sack all your lawyers and then you're coming out to say, I want to stand for myself. This is kind of, okay, I believe in the public more than my lawyers. But the public, too, people outside there are also interfacing with themselves. So, let's see where this let's see how it unfolds. But we just hope whatever needs to be done is done.
In court, for you to represent, for you to be a counsel in court, also during representation, you need to wear the gown and the wig. So let's see if you do that.
Okay, if it's going to be allowed to do that. I mean, we are not lawyers, but maybe we'll get a lawyer join us sometime to dissect this better. Still in the Daily Trust, we see, moving to the Daily Trust, we still see that Tinubu swears in and Mopitan charges him on credible polls. And then NUC approves 13 new courses for universities. I mean, you were talking about this before we came on set. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, if you look at most of these courses, they're actually okay. In short, I've always been an advocate that a course like computer science should be a faculty on its own. It should be a faculty. I am a graduate of computer science.
Okay.
But I'll tell you that we did more of math and statistics than computing itself. We did more of my BSc, my first degree. It was in computer science. But we did more of math statistics till my year 5 than computing. Now tell me how I will be able to compete with a high school person in China or in the US. In computing, or in computer science, there is networking, there is maintenance and repair, that's A+, or hardware. There's software. In software, you have different languages like C, C++, Java, JavaScript, Python, and the rest. You have networking. You have cybersecurity. Name it. But unfortunately, the Nigerian educational system will tell you computer science, and you just go and do math and statistics. Now, looking at the 13 new courses for the universities, before we came on air, I told you most of these courses are cool, aside two.
Okay.
And
I have the list here.
And one of them is the is it classical religious studies?
Oh.
And I ask you, and I ask myself, I ask Nigerians, classical religious studies, is it different from the normal religious studies we know?
I mean, I think most of these courses are launched. I mean, when they are fashioned out like this, most of them we tend to see that they are just mere renamings.
Now let's look at that classical religious studies also. If I'm not mistaken,
some people might have interest in it.
Yes, and my question is: are they going to use that? Will they add another book to the Bible to use in teaching?
They will bring innovative ways of.
Will they go and bring Book of Mammon to use?
They will bring innovative ways.
Now let's look at the other course, Islamic economics and is it finance? Will it be different from the normal economics?
I mean, are
they going to use okay? Is it because probably they'll use Arabic or Hausa to teach the economics?
Maybe these courses have been, they have looked at the problem in the educational system and look at the courses that are not in the curriculum that are needed, and then they see it deemed fit to bring them back.
Okay.
Exactly. But I just hope that it's not old courses being fashioned with new names.
Let me drop this question. Let's still look at that Islamic economics. Will the law of demand and supply that we all knew, or we all know rather, in the normal economics change from the law of demand and supply in?
You never can tell. You never can tell. That's why we are in an innovative world. We are moving with time. Things are changing, so we can choose to do things differently from the way we used to do them before.
Okay. I hope universities buy into this, because I would really like to see how this plays out.
I mean, what you're trying to say is that it should be. I mean, we have Sharia courts. So what do you have to say about that? We have Sharia courts. We have normal courts.
Nigeria
actually... Is it more like, why do we have Sharia courts?
No, I won't say that, because the Nigerian legal system is actually divided into two.
Okay.
The Sharia has been long adopted into the Nigerian constitution to oversee what is happening to our Muslim brothers, because they are more of, if I should use the word, a theocratic governance. You get? That's how they feel. So they feel, okay, back then, an eye for an eye. If you do this, we kill you. So, and for them, they feel, okay, that will deter people from engaging into bad, corrupt practices. Although, from my own point of view, I'm still waiting to see a Sharia court convict a politician for stealing. Because in Islam, in the Sharia court, if you steal, you should be flogged or stoned to death.
Or one of your hands will be...
You understand? You have a short hand.
Okay, looking at some of the courses here, I'm seeing some mostly tech courses and some vocational,
I said it that most courses are okay, aside those two.
But I want to ask a question. I have this burning question. Do you really think it's about, putting these tech courses, do they really guarantee, that support, demand rather, do they really guarantee that, to fill in that demand for, real-time solutions that we need?
Honestly, yes, we do.
Okay.
It does, rather. It does. Looking at courses like courses in the nuclear world, nuclear science, nuclear energy, and the rest. Come on, countries like Iran are running on nuclear science. Iran does not have NEPA. It's uranium they use in generating electricity. They don't have hydro dams to generate electricity. And a pinch of uranium can generate electricity that the whole of Abuja will use for years. And let me shock you. In Nigeria, we are blessed with most of those elements, most of those natural resources. So, yes.
Okay, just one more question before we round up. I mean, I'm just thinking that, some of these courses, they'll be rolled out. But a lot of students will still pick, those popular courses based on the legacy they have, medicine, law, and engineering, and not because they are passionate about it, just because of the prestige some of these courses, the name it carries. But then, what can you say about this now? This is going to be a new struggle between making students understand why they need to go for some of these new courses and how it is going to, help fill up those gaps that are in demand and supply in real time, in real life. So how do you think, is it going to be a new struggle? Are we going to start struggling with, okay, students do not want to go for these courses now? Because we were reading in the news earlier this month, and then there's this course that came, I saw on the internet. I've forgotten the name of the course, and people were laughing and dragging I think the person that was given admission to study that course posted it online, and he was making a fuss about it. He was quarreling, he was not happy, he was crying that this is what they gave to him, and people started laughing that, is this a course, is this, is this that? I think it's something on logistics. Okay. I think it's something on logistics and something, but there's logistics in it and transportation. I guess that's the course. So I was like, this is a very important course. So do you think there will be a new struggle, because there have been past struggles? Will there be a new struggle with getting students to understand that, okay, this is what we are doing because we need to do it, because we need to solve this?
Okay. The struggle will be in three folds, or in three ways. One, from NUC. Two, from the universities. Three, from the family. When I mean family, the intending students and the parents. Now, let me start analyzing from NUC. NUC.
Okay.
NUC has rolled out these courses, and they are telling universities who are interested to implement it. Now, what modalities have NUC put in place to make sure that when universities implement this, it will work? Has NUC interacted with these universities? Well, I know they must have, to say, okay, you want to, we have a course that we want to implement to national space research or space research. Do you have vast land that we'll use to do some, mini space shoot and everything? Do you get? So, NUC might not really have done this work well.
Okay.
But they just want to, keep abreast, because probably there's been public outcry. Our curriculums, I told you, in computer science, we were taught math and statistics. We were still doing differentials, first differentials, second differentials. We were still doing, up to my year 5, we were still doing statistics.
Suggestion, sending people you want us to spotlight. Remember the last time we rolled out idea persons of interest, and this time persons of interest, and this time it is idea industries and SMEs, and it is idea industries and SMEs of interest. And some of the companies we are spotlighting is Satri International, we are spotlighting Zipline, we are spotlighting Terra, we are spotlighting OPE, and of course M-Pesa, Kenya. So many things to talk about, so many things to look out for, and this initiative underscores the commitment to showcase the ingenuity of African innovators and innovation that are shaping the continent. Follow us, like I said before, view it, follow us at Idea Television for more updates and exclusive insights into the innovators powering Africa's transformation. This is where I'll leave you for today. We've dissected all that needs to be dissected. Even if we did not finish, I had to, pause Umar, but then we have to go. My name is Cynthia Basi, and I have been with Umar. Interesting. See you next time, or see you on the Idea Morning Digest.